Just like you say, if I'm gonna make 100 calls today and I don't do anything, I'm not gonna be discouraged. I'm gonna be, oh my God, this is not gonna happen.
And so last year, our agency was able to get best in company with the company that we work with, right? What's the magic, right?
I get up and nothing gets me
Boom!
down.
Who do we have today?
So today we have Mr. Eddie Millan. What living room am I sitting in? So how did you go about that? Like what were the daily what did you do on a daily basis? How did you build it up?
You need a process in place.
I'd like to pick both of your brains because we're talking about the agent and then the financial rep, right? If there was one piece of advice you'd give to an agent coming in.
You know, people think greed.
Buckle up. It's the Insurance Dudes Podcast.
So before we get started, we have a couple questions for you. One is, what living room am I sitting in that was an 80s sitcom?
Jeez. I don't know.
I'll name one of the characters, Tootie.
Oh boy.
Ah,
You take the good, you take the bad.
what is that? Man, I have so many things going through my head right now.
Clooney was on it, actually. The Facts of Life.
Blair. What about Blair?
Blair.
There you go.
That's right. Yeah, so Eddie, what's your background, man? Like, how did you get started in the game of life, retirement, and all that stuff? Take us all the way back.
Well, basically, I used to work for corporate. I was a franchisee consultant, just business, you know, a bunch of numbers, make sure the numbers look good and go for it. So that was that. Then after that, I decided not to work for corporate, just be independent on my own. So I do have different backgrounds, right? Business, consulting, tax advising, I'm a real estate broker, you know, just to get all that knowledge. And then I find out that financial services pays more than anything else out there. I went that direction.
And who was the first company that you worked for, and how did that go?
It was kind of like a brokerage thing, and then I went into New York Life for the training purposes. So basically, they pay for a master's degree. You know, basically they pay for all your schooling, the training, and all that. But all I just want just the a little bit of a knowledge and see to explore the financial side, and that was it.
A master's degree in hustle.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
They have a crazy training program, right?
They
Yeah, that's
do.
what
I
I've
mean,
heard.
they invest a lot of money into it for the first 3 years, probably over 200,000.
Wow. Per person.
Crazy.
Yeah, per person, and they pay us as much as you really want to get educated on, you know. So people take advantage.
So what was that training? What do you get for a $200,000 per person training program?
It's just all education, pretty much. You know what I mean? It's not really. They don't really give you the blueprints on how to be successful. They give you kind of like the numbers. Here it is. Apply it if you discipline enough, and that's it, man. It just basically gives you more knowledge and products and how you can help business individuals and all that scenario. But they don't give you the blueprints that I created throughout my years and experience. A
Right.
process, in other words, they don't really give you a process for you to be successful.
So what do they give you? Just like a giant manual and some courses?
Pretty much, pretty
And
much.
what were some of the takeaways? Like what were the big? I mean, how did they have such success with their brokerage? Like, what was their secret sauce doing the life and retirement?
Basically, they give you, you know, once you start, they start you with the project 200, which is a name flow leads that you need to call. So with that, you know, of course, if you start calling 200 people, you're gonna make some appointments and see some people and make some sales. That's basically what they do for you. They don't show you how to get those people, and it's very
Mm,
simple. To me, it's like look around. Who do you see around you? People.
right.
So if you don't make money, it's because you don't want to make money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That's
So
my
how did you do that? So that's I've always been enamored by the let's just say life insurance side in general, because they don't pay you hourly.
Right.
They just say, hey, join us, learn all this stuff for free. Don't do anything for a paycheck, and go find people, sign them up, and then you can make some money.
Well, I mean, are you specifically asking a New York Life or individually myself?
Well, so how did you handle that scenario? Because I wouldn't have handled that well.
I looked at it this, right? If I worked for corporate, which I did, I mean, I was making really good money, but there is a cap to it, right? When you're on your own, the sky is the limit. So which one would you go?
Right.
I think that there's like this division, right, of different of the way that people operate, right? There's a group of people, and probably it's the majority, that love that corporate job, they love that security, and they want to sit in that box, and they're good with that. You know, it's
Correct.
like if I'm in the box, I am freaking pounding the walls. I can't handle it. You know, I have to be in that position where there's the stress of, if I screw up, that's it, right? There's no net. You know, like, I'm not going to get yelled at by the boss. I'm going to lose everything. Right. So, and that's what you left. You left that security knowing that there's that potential. How was that?
Yeah, I was like 24, 25 years when I left. I'm making over $120,000 a year.
Which in California is like making 15 grand here.
Something.
Well, back
I'm
then,
just kidding.
But that's
I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Over 20 years ago.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's a ton, right? So you left a really
good money.
Uh-huh.
So I figure, why am I making money for somebody else if I can do it for myself?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then after that is like, what exactly do you need to make money? You need people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? Fortunately, in this planet, we're surrounded with people.
That's true.
So if you don't make money, it's because you don't want to. I mean, I look to the right, there's people. I look to the left, there's people. Front, backward, anywhere there's people. So you can make as much as you want.
Awesome.
So that's what I pretty much, like. I like to be in control of my own future.
So how did you go about that? Like, what were the daily, what did you do on a daily basis? How did you build it up?
You need a process in place. So part of the process, like I said, you need a process. That's the number one. And you can choose what target, what market, what people you're going to deal with. That's it. So, but the bottom line is the process. The second one for me, my second rule is that don't base things on emotions. Just like you say, if I'm going to make 100 calls today and I don't do anything, I'm not going to be discouraged. I'm going to be, oh my God, this is not going to happen. I'm not going to make money. That's basing things on emotions. I don't involve emotions in business and even in my personal life. I make decisions clear-minded based on the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So emotions are out of the way, because tomorrow could be very good and now you're up. And then the following day could be pretty bad and then now you're down. So you can't really base things or results based on emotion. So I always exclude that.
Eddie, how do you do that? Have you always been that way, or were you ever emotional?
I think I learned that throughout the years based on, I guess everybody stays, it comes from home. So most of my family's been in business and they don't get attached to anything. I mean, throughout my life, I probably moved from countries, cities, and different places so many times that I don't get attached to anything. So I think that helped me a little bit, but overall, that's basically what it is all about. You have to think about, if you're in business, you can't get attached to things. If you lose a client, now you're like, oh my God, I lost a client. There's going to be many clients coming over. Stop wasting time on something that you can't control. Move forward with it. And I guess that's something that it makes me a little different than most people out there. I control my business. I control my revenue. I control the outcome. I control the people that I hire. I pretty much control my whole entire, I guess, surroundings, and business and personal. Yeah, I
love that.
I believe in that pretty much. You know what I mean? Don't let things get to you, because then once they get to you, you start becoming emotional, and then you start thinking negative, and then you're wasting time. The reality is that you're just wasting your time. Why focus on that? Focus on the next client. I mean, I have so many scenarios where I have clients that sign the paperwork, $1 million investments, and they change their mind. Or they say, you know what, let me think about it. I'm all right. Whenever you're ready, give me a call. If not, next, I want to go for the next one and the next one. And that's pretty much what I really focus on. What am I going to do next? And the pipeline, the money, everything just keeps on coming. I don't even think about it. I just think about what am I going to do next? How
That
can I
just
make it?
recently happened, right?
Yeah, I mean, even today, my business is up from last year over 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because I don't get attached to things. I don't get attached to the process that I had in place months ago. We have to adapt to current times, to current days. Every single day is going to be different. Tomorrow is going to be different. 5 years from now is going to be different. Imagine 10 years. Perhaps we're going to be
Right.
flying low. We're not going to be driving anymore. Who knows? I mean, why get attached to yesterday or today? You have to do adjustments and move forward with it.
And so last year, our agency was able to get best in company with the company that we work with, right?
Yep.
Most of that is based off of production credit and life policies. So talk a little bit about that. Everybody asks me, what's the secret sauce? What's the magic, right? And it's Eddie. So Eddie, what's the secret sauce? What's the magic?
Well, just to be not to be talking smack in any way, but we already have what we did last year for the whole year. As of today, we have more than what we had accomplished last year, and this is only almost halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
It is the process.
Right.
It is
Yep.
the process, and also, there's a couple things that I guess I learned through all these years working for this company, right? A lot of agents complain, oh, this guy doesn't really keep me informed. He doesn't follow up with this, with that. And he's just looking for a negative thing to comment, right? And then on the other side, you see this financial specialist, same thing. Oh, these yada, yada, yada. At the end of the day, you got to find, get the process going and just do whatever you do best and keep each other at each. I mean, what we have is just an amazing, I guess, organization. We have a process and also departments in place that everybody's good at what they do or what they are servicing. I guess, one department sales another department, telemarketing another department, and we just focus on what we do best. Everybody has a different task.
Mm.
And
Yep.
nobody has that. I mean, I try to work with so many people. Nobody has that business mentality, that plan in place, that consistency, the process, And
Yeah.
basically, without a process, you don't need anybody. Not to be disrespectful in any way, because you control your own destiny, right? But if you have somebody that you can join with, hey, guess what? You're going to accomplish that even sooner.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the
Yep.
benefit. So basically, I do have a process. I have people in place. I got two different departments. Everybody takes care of different things, and I just close business. That's all I do.
I'd like to pick both of your brains because we're talking about the agent and then the financial rep, right? And there's a partnership here. So Jason, you sell, probably some of the most, you provide some of the most PNC for California, like one of the biggest new item producers in California, I would say. I mean, it's probably
Without a
that's
doubt.
probably pretty safe
some monsters.
assumption. Right. There's some monsters, but for a newer agent, you're crushing it. And so let's say 200 new households come in a month, right?
Right.
It's something around there. Now you close them, or your producers close them. Then what happens? Do they tee it up? Do they say, hey, congratulations, blah, 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 you're going to start in 2 days. One of Eddie's team is going to call you. Who is Eddie? Or how does that work? What does that look like? Because I think, we keep talking about process, but let's map it out so somebody can actually do this thing with their guy.
Well, once we on
ahead.
that closing call, so most of the stuff that we lead with is auto because that's the one thing that, we can sell in California. So we bring them in with the auto, we cross sell them at least mention, home, a lot more renters in California, to be honest. And then on that closing call, we try to get everyone to mention life and retirement. It's part of one of the benefits. You qualify for this, right? You qualify to that you can actually get some financial advice and just sit down with Eddie and he can really help you out with all this stuff. So we try to get them to mention that on the call every single close.
Okay.
That's the goal.
And they don't talk about product. They just tee it up a little bit. Do they set an appointment, or do they just say, hey, this is Eddie's, somebody we work with, he's going to reach out? How do they manage that expectation?
I think they do. If they're able to, to set an appointment, they will, of course.
Gotcha.
We're not going to neglect that. I mean, that's just part of it. But they're really good at selling auto, so that's their main thing, of course. And the goal is to introduce other benefits that they do qualify for once they sign up with the auto side.
Yeah. So we bring them in. The funnel is so simple. Bring them in with the auto, mention life, try to book the appointment.
I can see how you two get along. It is great.
Well, it's pretty funny. I was telling Jason, it's very difficult to find somebody who has the same mentality or the same goals or the same, ways to see life or business. It's difficult, because most people complain. I'm like, stop wasting time. What are you doing about it? What are you doing about it? It's like, let's do this. And we just do it. I mean, since day one, right? I mean, I remember we met and I said, all right, this is what we're going to do. You take care of the auto, I take care of the life. That's it. Simple as that. Let's not break the, relationship.
Yeah. And at first it was like, well, what if somebody comes into the agent? Because I was new and this is what other agents told me. Well, and I was like, well, what if somebody comes into the agency, wants me to, wants to write a policy through me? And then you said, well, then send them over to me. Right. I said, okay. But then right when you said that, I was like, well, this is actually really relieving, because now I can focus on what I do, and I know you're going to handle that because you want to handle it all, which was relieving. A lot of people think like, money wise, right? Well, what if a big thing comes in?
Who cares?
It's like,
well, that's
the problem.
People think greed.
Yeah.
I mean, I fired a few agents, because of that. Like, dude, like, you're supposed to be on your own. I'm supposed to be on my own. Let's make it a great business, and at the end of the day, I'm going to make my money regardless. So we're going to team up. What's the benefit for you and me?
That's awesome. You guys are crushing it. So let me ask you, Eddie, if there was one piece of advice, and I think that this thing was filled with knowledge nuggets just all through, and it's all common sense too, but if there was one piece of advice you'd give to an agent coming in from your financial side of it, what would you say to them?
Have a process in place and don't make decisions based on emotions. That's it.
That's it.
Love it.
Drop the mic.
That's it.
Awesome.
Basically.
Oh man, Eddie, thank you so much. This is awesome. It was great. You think you'd come back and do Eddie part 2 at some point?
Of course, whenever you guys want to.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, cool. Thank you for joining us on the Insurance Dudes, and we will chat soon.
Fair enough.
All right.
Hey, you've got to check out the Insurance Dudes Inner Circle coming soon, where you get extended interviews as well as live coffee talks in our private Facebook group. Join the mailing list today at theinsurancedudespodcast.com. Hey, thanks for checking out the Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.